Welcome everyone to Tuesday Tea Time. I'm a little bit later this afternoon because I was getting a brand new pasture organized for my horses. It's one of my favorite things to do. But there's always fencing and fence posts and electricity and all the fun things that go into making a new space for the horses. I think my favorite part about my job is making life better for horses in whatever way that is. So sometimes that's just in caring for my beautiful horses. And sometimes it's in helping other people care for their horses. So as you guys know, I started my business, which is Taming Wild, after the movies. And I trademarked the term freedom-based training. But it's coming up a lot in various people's feeds that different people are wanting to also teach freedom-based training. And here's the thing, I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited that there's more people in the world than just me that want to ask these questions. What does it take to work with horses without food rewards, without pushing them against a fence, without holding them with a rope, without putting a halter on them? What does that take? And I'm really excited that there's a lot of people in the world interested in this theory. But who can teach it? The answer, you're going to laugh at me, but the answer is really the only one that can teach freedom-based training is the horses. The horses are the only ones that can really teach us if we're getting this right. And it's going to vary from horse to horse. It's going to have to adapt and change. And I learn all the time. Now, I teach a lot. So there's going to be students that have done my online courses. There's going to be students that have gone to clinics. There's going to be students who listen to every tea time. And as there are more and more students getting excited about this, there's going to be some that go on and teach it to others as well. Now, are they really teachers of freedom-based training? Not really. Hey, Ocasio. They are just passing on the things that have helped them, which I'm really glad for. It is always, always, always going to be the horses that are the teachers. I'm not going to certify any teachers because I don't want to be a policeman that's telling people if they're doing it right or they're doing it wrong. Only the horses can tell you that. So if you need to go get your halter or if you need to use some food rewards, you've just switched to another training method. It doesn't mean that you won't still use good feel and timing. It doesn't mean that you won't still do a really good job of training. It's just no longer based in freedom. And I'm going to let everybody's work speak for themselves. So if I have students that pass on some of these ideas, that's wonderful. The horses get to be the judge of how good a job they're doing. And for anybody who asks for help around these ideas of freedom-based training from someone other than me, I'm going to leave it up to you and your horses to decide what quality of help that is that you're getting. It's not my job to be a policeman about it. Freedom-based training is my trademark, so technically other people can't use it as their style of training. But in the real world, it's become a style. So there's other trainers around the world who don't certify trainers, and yet they have many followers that will continue to teach in their style. And I'm honored if I get to be one of those. So I'm going to continue to teach and I'm going to continue to learn. I can't possibly talk to every person on earth. I will only reach a handful. And I love the idea that considering freedom-based training, considering the training where the horse has more of a voice, is getting bigger than me. That means that I'm not going to hunt people down if they mention freedom-based training in with all of the other things that they're teaching. It's technically my trademark, but I believe in freedom. And I believe in giving to the world freely and allowing the world to give back to you. So I am going to give what I've learned. I'm going to give the things that I wish I had known when I was younger. And that continues. I mean, every year I look back to last year when I was younger and I think, oh, if only I'd known a few things about feel and timing that I had yet to learn. So I'm going to keep passing those things on. And my students will also. So around the world, there will be people that talk about freedom-based training. Are they certified by me? No. But they are encouraged by me to share what they know. Now, some of them may have studied with me extensively. Some of them may have only done one tea time with me and think they know everything. That's the way it goes. I really love this work and I don't want to limit it in any way. Yes, I registered the trademark. That seems like what you do with a business. So technically it's my trademark, but I want the ideas to be shared freely. I don't want to own them. I want the ideas to travel around the globe to make life better for everyone's horses. Thank you, Jane. I really love this work more than anything I've ever done. Making horses' lives better is the best thing on earth. So that's what I do. I'm out here right now in a beautiful new pasture. You can see my herd grazing out behind me. I have a rare and amazing opportunity to work in large expanses of land where the fences are not close to me, at least a great majority of the time. And my horses have space to move away from me, and they have as many friends as they want, and they have as much food as they want. And I can really explore freedom-based training in a way that not many people can. This gives me a unique perspective to learn and then teach what I've learned. But I realize I'm not the only one. There are people around the world who also have different opportunities that I don't have, that will learn different angles and different ways of doing things. If they want to explore teaching in freedom, learning in freedom, working with horses in freedom, I want to encourage that. And the words freedom-based training might get passed off here and there as a way to explain what they're playing with and what they're sharing. And that's exciting for me. Will there be somebody better than me at some point? Oh gosh, I hope so. I really hope. I would love it if somebody somewhere in the world found that they could do what I've been doing for the last 15 years even better. That would be so exciting for me. And if they started sharing it and teaching it, they're going to have to come up with their own name for it, seeing I've trademarked freedom-based training, but that's beside the point. I would be thrilled if there were more people dabbling, playing, teaching, learning, and realizing that the horse is the only true teacher. We are going to take actions. Then the horse is going to take actions. And if there is more and more harmony between the horse and the human in the ability to do more and more things, we're doing something right. Now, if our actions include trapping them against a fence, controlling their food source, controlling their friend source, any of the things that they really want, putting those controls on there, it's just a different type of training. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just different. Freedom is about making sure that all the basic needs are met. and then putting our actions into the circumstance beyond that. Now, you guys might think about the clinics that you guys have seen me teach. Clinics are, interestingly, not really freedom-based training, because it's very, very difficult to have the concepts be shown in a way where an audience of 20 to 50 people can watch them if the horse is in freedom and we're in a really big space. So we do make the spaces smaller when we do a clinic. That makes it not really freedom-based training. And I will explain that over and over again. I'm going to teach you the concepts that help me. And these are concepts you would be able to use in a bigger space where the horse had more freedom. But it is a little bit ironic that I spend a lot of my year teaching in a situation that's not very free, just to pass on the information so that people could then go use it in more freedom if they wanted to. Now, many, many people will take the concepts that I teach in a clinic or in a freedom-based training clinic, and they'll use it with less freedom. And that is absolutely fine also, because that's one of the most beautiful parts about this. The skills that we gain in freedom teach us to understand horses better. And when we understand horses better, it means we will also do a better job when we have a lead rope attached to them. We will also do a better job when they're enclosed in a small space. When we understand them better, we'll do better even when they're not in freedom. So this was sort of a long talk about who can teach freedom-based training, but I'm going to stand by my statement. Horses teach freedom-based training. I trademarked the term. I will continue to teach online classes and clinics and everything else because it's exciting to me when I watch horses' lives and humans' lives together get better. But I don't think I'm really the teacher. I am setting up circumstances where people can learn from their horses better. I'm more of a facilitator. And I am going to be openly supportive of others being facilitators of that. Even though I'm not certifying them, I won't be telling you to go to one of them. I'm going to let you, in your own freedom, find your own path. Whether you come to me or whether you go to somebody else, consider if you took away all the restraints and all the pressures and all the food rewards, what's left? Now, what's interesting about this is not a new idea. The Pirellis used to talk about this all the time when it came to when you take off the halter, all you have left is the truth. But really what that meant is how good was your pressure training and does it still work when you take the halter off? And I did that for a lot of years. And what I found was, yeah, it did still work, but you had to repeatedly put the halter back on or use the stick again or use the fence again to keep polishing up your training so that you could take it off again. And I wanted something more than that. I wanted to start without the restraints and see where I could go from there. And it started as an experiment. It turned into something that was far more successful than I ever anticipated. And now I have the luxury of practicing with my horses every day. They're all spread out in the green grass behind me. So I hope that sheds a little light on it when you guys see somebody mention freedom-based training. I am glad that it's in the conversation around the world. I do hope people choose their own names for their businesses. But if they want to talk about training and freedom, I am cheering them on, whether they've heard of me or not, whether they've listened to one tea time or done my course 10 times. This is a good conversation to play with and talk to the horses about. Anne says, so grateful you do share your knowledge with us, and you're so generous in your teachings. Yeah, it feels good to be that way. Life is too short to be otherwise, in my opinion. Noah says, yes, yes, yes. To me, it's about learning the individual horse's timing from the horse with your help, Elsa Sinclair. Then any other type of training becomes easy. That is the goal. And certainly it'll be easier with some horses and harder with other horses, depending on who you are and what your environment is and all of those things. But we're here as beings sharing this planet to inspire each other, to help each other do better, to help improve the quality of life for all the other beings around us. And I think that these discussions about training and freedom are really useful. And I'm glad there's more and more of them happening around the world. Noah says, oh, and also to need less and less dominance, assertive becomes sufficient. Yeah. So for those of you who are new to the way I use the terminology, dominance is when you need to manage the horse trying to get away from you or trying to push you more than you like. And if you think about it, if your horse never tried to pull away from you and they never pushed into you, you wouldn't need a halter or a lead rope. Your halter or a lead rope is there to manage them trying to leave you or trying to push into you. So that's what dominance is to me, is when you are managing their desire to leave or their desire to push. Assertive is where you can ask them for things that you would like, and it's easy for them to say yes. So an example of that is if I'm walking with my horse and I say, hey, will you come with me over to the left side of the pasture? If they say, yes, I'd love to, I didn't need to manage their desire to leave. I could ask them to go with me, and they could say yes easily. So assertive is just where you can ask a series of questions that are easy for the horse to say yes to. Dominance is where we don't have a foundation of a relationship enough to be able to ask the right questions. And so instead we end up managing their desire to get away or push into us. That can be done well. Dominance isn't a bad word in my mind. It's just a managing of overwhelm. And that can be really, really helpful for horses. There's a lot of trainers out there who manage overwhelm beautifully and can give you a lot of good training on how to manage overwhelm. And I am glad they're out there, but I'm also glad I don't have to do that anymore. I spent a lot of my life being that trainer, helping people learn how to use a halter better, helping people learn how to use a bridle better. And I can still do it, but I would rather coach people through sharing time with horses in a way where your assertive gets better and better and better, and there's less and less need for dominance. So those are a few of my thoughts about it. I hope that's inspiring for you. Every moment that you spend with your horse, you are setting up habits and patterns and ways of being with each other that will repeat over and over and over again. And a lot of it is subconscious. We don't realize the habits and the patterns that we are investing in the relationship until they get big enough to be uncomfortable. So what I do is I help people see what happens before the next thing, what happens before the next thing. And only the horse can teach them that. I can point out how to look for it. I can give you different exercises so that you become more aware. But only the horse can teach you how to build better habits together. And so the horse is the only one that can teach freedom-based training. I can facilitate it. There might be a lot of other people around the world who start facilitating it too. That's a good thing. It's a really good thing. I'm not certifying. I'm not suggesting. I'm going to let each one of you figure out who can help you if you want to go down this path and if you want to explore it. I'm here, but there's certainly going to be more and more people around the world. I want to give a little shout out to Kim Daly right now. He is going through his own project, just like I did with Myrna in my first movie. He has gotten a Brumby off the range, and he's spending some time to see what they can do without fences, without food, without halters, without ropes. And he's going to do it in his own way, at his own time. And I'm not helping him. He is learning from his horse. And I am certainly here in the background cheering him on, because there's nothing quite like that journey. Will there be more of people like that in the future? I don't know, maybe. It takes a ridiculous amount of time. It's a huge investment in time. And it can be pretty vulnerable if you're already a good trainer in other ways, to step out like that and let the horse take you up a notch is really what I think it comes down to. For anybody who studies work and freedom at any capacity, whether it's a few minutes of the day or hours and hours, or with a new wild horse, or with the horse that you've owned for 30 years, or your neighbor's horse, I think it's all beautiful. And I'm excited to see how it continues. I will still be here. I will still be doing freedom-based training clinics and online courses and all of those things. I head off to Germany and Portugal in 2 weeks to do some clinics, and then I'm home for a little bit, and then I'm off to Australia. And I will see some of you guys at Equitana, where I'm giving a couple of presentations. And then I have clinics in Melbourne and Canberra and Tasmania and near Perth, but not in Perth. Anyway, you can find all this on the website if you guys are interested. And thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining me for tea time. I'm going to go hang out with my horses in their brand new pasture if I can go find them. And I will look forward to seeing you next week.